Hello and welcome to Reality Check. Hi, I'm Mark Pellegrino, and today I'm going to talk about environmentalism. Environmentalism is a political, ethical ideology that holds untouched nature as the highest human value. This means human action is good, just, and moral if nature's preservation is its ultimate goal. Now, to most people, this translates into a well-meaning take on the human interaction with the natural world. Keep the world clean while you build an industrial-sized society. Nice, right? We all want clean air and water, and we all like looking at pretty waterfalls and hiking through forests and up mountains. But we also like our washing machines, air conditioners, cell phones, and cars. The popular take on environmentalism says we can have both. But if environmentalism's primary goal is untouched nature, can we really? The concepts untouched nature and human being are incompatible concepts. That means they don't go together. In fact, they so don't go together that it's safe to say the relationship between the two is an either-or proposition. That's right, it's either untouched nature or human beings, not both. Why is that? Human beings have a special relationship to the world. I say special because no other animal that we know of shares our unique tool of survival, reason. It's reason that enables us to fulfill our needs by changing elements in the natural world from one thing to another. We change trees into houses, pencils, and paper, or into steel to build skyscrapers and cars, sand into glass and silicon for computer chips. Even at a primitive level, human beings must transform nature as it is into something it isn't in order to survive. Now, all of this means that if human beings want to live, they have to touch nature. And if they want to live well and thrive, they have to touch nature a lot. So any ideal which holds untouched nature as its highest value cannot allow this heavy petting to continue for long. And to not allow it is to not allow human life. Now, if you don't think environmentalism as it is practiced today really has mean intentions aimed at the best that humanity has to offer, think again and observe the practical application of environmentalism in the destruction of our energy economy and the myopic push to decarbonize the industrial world regardless of the cost to human life. So therein lies the rub. How do we continue to thrive in an industrial-sized society with a humanistic approach to the environment? What would a human-first approach even look like? After all, living is a dirty business. Life produces waste, and life on an industrial scale produces lots of waste, and dealing with that is a real issue. I say there are three ways to a human-first approach to the environment. First off, how about we try treating human beings as a part of nature, not some alien, invasive, parasitical species intent on destruction. Once we understand that a person's natural means of survival is production, we can stop treating that uniquely human act as an inherently evil artifice that needs to be stopped by force, and we can stop beating people over the head for just being human.
To err is human! So,
Secondly, let's stop worshiping the primitive, the anti-material, the minimal as the good. Yeah, I know, being obsessed with things isn't healthy either, but romanticizing the simpler, blissful days of the hunter-gatherer is just as silly. There is nothing nice about nature in the wild, and nothing soul-enhancing about facing it without the artifices of human improvements.
I don't know if I can get it. Do it.
Unless, of course, you can return to those artifices for a break from the grind that daily survival without those conveniences really is. And lastly, let's take force out of environmental policy by reverting government environmental agencies to private information orgs with no capacity to create and enforce laws. As it stands, environmentalism has become the go-to silent accessory to the growth of state power and the enrichment of the political class. It is the means by which politicians frighten and guilt people into surrendering their wealth, happiness, and comfort for the sake of a pseudo-religious apocalyptic vision whose only end is the concentration of their power. As I said at the top of this, everybody wants clean air and water. Everybody likes to look at pretty things. Even those pesky, self-centered industrialists don't want to die or kill their children for a buck. I know, you think they do, but they really don't. So it's time to take the environmental out of environmentalism and replace it with human. The real humanism of a liberal society that does not treat human action as if it is a natural conflict with everything else. Because it isn't. The real humanism that leaves people alone to find their own way, because that way is always, repeat, always, better than the utopian alternative supplied by the political elites. The real humanism that understands that the environment is only of value to those who live and act in it. In other words, to those who use and transform its raw materials into the resources that make life possible. Humanism is the kind of ism we can all get behind. Check.